My wife's best friend has always tried to insert herself in my life, and when my wife was knocked out, she tried to get inserted and cried grape when I refused her advances and decked her in the face. I, 35M, have been with my beautiful wife, 34F, for close to 10 years, and we have no kids as of now. My wife's best friend, I'll call her Amy, has been friends with my wife for about 15 years, all throughout college where I originally met my wife. Myself and Amy haven't ever been the best of friends, however, we've been cordial for the sake of my wife. I've always found her to be obnoxious, loud, and entitled, the kind that inserts herself into any and every conversation, whether that be on a night out with friends or a private conversation. For example, my best friend and I were talking about fertility issues in his marriage during a dinner with our longtime friends. We were quiet enough so that nobody could hear us over the chatter, yet she found a way to be nosy and make a comment on how she would off herself if she couldn't do the one thing a woman was made to do. This pissed off my best friend and his wife to the point where they excused themselves and left early to go home. Now on to the actual situation at hand. Amy's boyfriend, I'll call him Khalid, had left her due to her annoying personality. I think it was more of a build-up, but what set him off was when Amy purposely did not feed their dog while he was on a work trip, because he was sleeping while she was drunk and calling him to pick her up. That's only the tip of the iceberg. Amy has always been weird with me. She has constantly tried to DM me on Instagram, trying to make conversation about gossip in our friend group or completely random things, and I have always ignored her. My wife has always seen past her strange behavior, and she refused to believe her dearest best friend would have ill intentions. Anyway, after their breakup, Amy came over to our house to see my wife. My wife was feeling ill on this day, so she took some meds to help her fall asleep and was out within an hour. I could not ask Amy to leave in the state she was in, so for my wife's sake, I suggested she could sleep in the guest bedroom. She agreed and went to bed. I was in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, and she waltzed into the kitchen with nothing but undergarments on. She acted shocked and claimed she didn't know I was still in the kitchen. I felt extremely uncomfortable and decided to call it a night. However, she started undressing and approaching me, telling me how my wife doesn't have to know and she's seen the way I've looked at her. I was completely baffled and told her she'd gotten the wrong idea and should be ashamed to do this to her own best friend while I tried to scurry out of the kitchen. However, she practically leapt in front of me and touched my manhood through my pants. Without a second thought, I hit her. I know I could have easily pushed her, but in the moment, I panicked and punched her in the face. She started wailing, enough that my wife woke up and stumbled into the kitchen to see her best friend, exposed and bruised. She then went on about how I tried to grape her and that I'm a disgusting human being and she should divorce me. I snapped back that she approached me, undressed, and a rejection wasn't enough for her to back off, so I punched her, hence the bruise. My wife didn't say anything. Instead, she fainted and fell on her side, and I immediately brought her to the hospital. My wife is now okay but refuses to talk to me about what happened. On the other hand, Amy has now accused me of attempting to grape her in our friend group. The majority of people don't believe her, but there's a few who always believe a grape accusation. The other half told me I messed up by punching her and fueling this anger. Amy has ruined my life, and I'm afraid my wife will divorce me and this goes to court. I've already contemplated sewer slide many times. I don't know where to go from here. Edit. My wife was in an abusive household when she was a teenager, and Amy helped her get out of there. She feels like she owes her life to Amy, and they are practically like sisters. Also, Amy was not drunk that night. Update 1. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their support, input, and advice, which I have used profusely in this situation. For the people who proceeded to say I should have smashed with Amy or me calling me a sicko, I truly hope you find peace in your lives. Now on to the update. A lot has happened in the past 9 hours. Someone made a suggestion to text Khalid, and so I did. Khalid was just as distraught as me and admitted that this was, in fact, not the first time she has screamed grape, just like some of you had suspected. She has threatened to scream grape to force Khalid to stay in the relationship with her. He got out of it by installing cameras without her knowledge and contacting a lawyer in case she went through with her claims. This worked in my favor, and he was very supportive and sympathetic. I confronted Amy with all the fallacies in her story and mentioned the existing evidence Khalid still had if she was interested in taking her claims to court. She panicked and told me no, apologized, and said she wasn't in her right mind after the breakup. I got her to admit this in the group chat as I am not interested in false rumors spreading about me in case someone was still unsure of the situation. She shortly left the group chat and has cut off contact with everyone. In other words, she has become unreachable. I explained to my wife what had happened, and she had seen all the messages with her confession anyway. My wife told me she genuinely didn't know who to believe and was contemplating divorce in that moment. I was heartbroken. I told her I needed time to process everything that had happened in the past 14 hours, and I will be sleeping in the guest bedroom tonight. I am happy she believes me now, but it doesn't sit well with me that it took an actual confession out of Amy for my wife to side with me. I have been with my wife for 10 years and would expect her to know me better than that, but at the same time, she didn't know Amy was capable of something like this in 15 years. My marriage has definitely taken a hit with this situation. Although I love my wife and have seen past every other time she has defended Amy, this situation is something I can't get over overnight. I thank you all for helping me navigate this situation. Edit. I am very aware and understanding of my wife's situation. She feels indebted to Amy, and there's definitely a power play at hand. However, my wife has laughed off the incident and dismissed the fact of how traumatizing it was for me. She still refuses to see Amy as the villain and is blaming it on the emotional heartbreak of her breakup. Update 2. So it's been a bit over 2 months since the incident occurred. Needless to say, it's been a hectic 2 months. I tried to make it work, I really did. For 2 months, I tried to brush it off and dealt with my wife still having frequent hangouts with Amy and telling me about them all excitedly as if her own best friend didn't just try to smash with me. However, the last straw was a few days ago when my wife was telling me how she and Amy are planning a trip to Greece for the summer holidays and how she can't wait to finally have a break from life's stresses. I simply said nothing and walked away from her. She followed me and asked me if everything was okay, and I straight up told her how I can't believe she would dismiss the fact that Amy accused me of grape when in actual fact she forced herself onto me. I told her how when it came to Amy, she believed her and was willing to divorce me on the spot, but when it came to me, she brushes it off and continues to have her girly hangouts with the very friend who tried to destroy our marriage. I blatantly told her she doesn't care for me. My wife started bursting into tears and had the audacity to ask me, "At that again? Why can't you just get over it?" I don't know why I thought she would have listened now. I had enough at that point and told her we're getting a divorce. I walked away and started to pack my suitcase as she tried her hardest to stop me. She pulled my shirt, hit me, threw things, and went from calling me names to begging me to stay. I walked out and am now staying at a hotel while she and her family blow up my phone. I don't know what to do.